على رسول الله وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن والاه. Then, one second, let me turn my mic down a little bit. Then we're going to just go through the 15 or 16 chapters or whatever we get through. If we don't finish it, we won't continue, but we'll probably finish it, inshallah. We're just going to touch on it. This first chapter was al-Jumlatul Mufida, beneficial sentence, or in English, it'd probably be better to say a complete sentence. When we say beneficial in Arabic, they say that because a sentence is not considered a sentence unless it benefits the listener, and the listener is not needing more information to receive a benefit. So if I said in English, for instance, Muhammad is, you're still waiting for more information. You haven't benefited anything yet. So if I say Muhammad is the messenger of Allah, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, now you've benefited some information. You benefited that Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. You may want more information, but you have received a benefit, and that's why the sentence is called a beneficial sentence. Right? So this first sentence, I'll just read a couple of them, and if anyone has any questions, then just type them in, or just, brothers interrupt. Al-Bustanu Jamilun, the garden is beautiful. You benefited something. You might want to know how big is it, what kind of flowers are in it, like that, but you've received a benefit, and you're not still listening for more, like you've been left with some incomplete information, as if I just said Al-Bustan, the garden. You still want to know what about it. Need to know something about it. So then the second here, or actually the fourth one, but across from it, Qatafa Muhammadun Zahra. Qatafa is to pick. Qatafa Muhammadun Zahratan. Muhammad picked a flower. Right? Qatafa Muhammadun Zahratan. Muhammad picked a flower. Again, I didn't just say Qatafa, he picked, or Qatafa Muhammadun, Muhammad picked. Muhammad picked what? Zahratan. Once I say that, you received a benefit. That's why it's called a beneficial sentence and not necessarily a complete sentence. But in order for it to be a complete sentence, it has to bring benefit, right? It says in the qaida, in the rule, I have the whole book here, so I have to scroll down. It says the first rule, this would be good for someone to maybe write these in their notebook, right? So write just the rules on a piece of paper in their notebook. It says التركيب الذي يفيد فائدة تامة يسمى جملة مفيدة ويسمى أيضا كلاما. The tarkib, which is the making up of the words, the combining of these words, which benefits a complete benefit, is called a beneficial sentence, and it's also called kalam, or speech. Why does the tar marbuta have fatatain? We'll get there, but because Zahratan is the object of what Muhammad picked. Qatafa Muhammad, Zahratan is the object, so it's maf'ulun bihi mansub. We'll get there as we go down, but no problem. You can ask it, no problem. But we'll get to a section on maf'ulun bihi as we scroll down. So we have Zahratan being mansoob because it's the object of the verb maf'ulun bihi, the object. So number one was the word order or combination that comes together to make a complete idea or complete benefit is called a beneficial sentence, and is also called kalam. So for instance, according to the Nuhat, those people, those Arabic grammarians, in English, if someone said, if we just make an equivalent, if someone said, Abdullah, or if you said Tom, would that can be considered speech? Now, if your teacher tells you don't speak and you yell out Tom, you spoke. You spoke in class, right? Because he told you not to talk. But in Arabic grammar, that's not considered speech. The Arabic grammarian is, if you sit in his class, he might consider a speech if he tells you not to talk. But as far as Arabic grammar, he's not going to deal with it grammar-wise because there's nothing to talk about. There's nothing before it. There's nothing after it. There's nothing to make it in a grammar situation. So therefore, it's not considered speech. It has to be a complete idea to be considered speech. In al-Ajrumiyya, it says al-lafz al-murakkab al-mufid bil-Wadih. Al-lafz, it has to be spoken. Arabic grammar does not deal with writing, although for us it does, right? But Arabic grammar, because in Arabic, as we see, they usually don't write the endings. They do here in this book because it's for beginners, right? But a lot of times they don't write the letters, the vowels on it. So this doesn't concern them writing, right? Writing doesn't concern them. It's only going to be speech. Al-Murakkab, meaning made of two or more words, right? Al-Mufid, meaning beneficial. And Bil-Wada', meaning in the Arabic language. So Arabic language does not deal with Steve went to the store. That has nothing to do with Arabic grammar, right? Steve went to the store has nothing to do with Arabic because it's in a foreign language. Or if we say, Dhahaba Muhammad ila store, that has nothing to do with Arabic language. Dhahaba Muhammad ila store. Store is not an Arabic word, therefore it has nothing to do with the Arabic language. The second qaida or rule, al-jumlatul mufidatu قد تتركب من كلمتين وقد تتركب من أكثر وكل كلمة فيها تعد جزءا منها. That the beneficial sentence could be made up of two words or it could be made up of more than that. And every word in it is considered a portion or a section of it. So basically, now we learned what is Arabic, what is the sentence, and that the sentence is made up of parts. In English, we say subject, predicate, adverb, verb, object, like this. This book, from here on out, is going to begin to explain to us what these parts of speech are and what their effect is. Like I said, if anybody has any questions, then just chime in. I gotta scroll down through all these pages. No, I can't. I can do this now. If it lets me. Okay, I missed it. Ajza al-jumla, the parts of speech of the sentence. Ajza is the plural of juz. So we don't say he memorized 6 juzes of the Quran. We say he memorized 6 ajza of the Quran, right? Juz, ajza. He memorized juz amma and he memorized 5 other ajza, not 5 juzes, right? Ajza, parts of the jumla, the sentence. The first one, Rakiba Ibrahimu Hisan. Rakiba Ibrahimu Hisan. Ibrahim rode the horse. Ibrahim rode the horse. And if we go down to number 7 here, تجري السفينة على الماء. تجري السفينة على الماء. The ship floats or moves on the water. The rule here is going to show us that there are basically 3 types of speech. We would have read all of those sentences, which we did in the first class, or in the second class. In the first and the second class, which is what we're covering right now, were not recorded, but the other classes so far have been recorded, and they're on YouTube, but they're not public. So if you want them, I have to send you the link, or you must already have it, because I want them to be kept private, because we're not really teaching the book. I don't want anyone to think that they can click on the An-Nahw al-Wadih lessons and that they're going to learn the An-Nahw al-Wadih. No, they're just going to learn the principles or the rules of the An-Nahw al-Wadih, and we're going to apply them in our reading, inshallah. Is that clear for everybody?
No.
Is this boring to anybody?
No. That is going to be boring.
Okay, you want me to just go to something else?
I'm saying it's just going to be boring.
Oh. Al-Kalimatu al-Thalatha Anwa. This section here teaches us that speech or words are 3 types. Ismun wa fa'ilun harf. It's going to be a noun, it's going to be a fi'l, a verb, or it's going to be a harf, a particle. And you're not going to find any word in the Arabic language that goes outside of these 3. You're not going to find a 4th kind. There's different type of asma. There's different types of verbs, and there's different types of huruf. Right? But they're always going to fall under the ism, the fi'l, and the harf. So what is an ism? An ism, kullu lafzi lafzin. Kullu lafzin. يسمى به إنسان أو حيوان أو نبات أو جماد أو أي شيء آخر. Every pronunciation or every word basically that names a person or an animal or a plant or an object or anything other than that. That's a noun. Basically in English, a person, place, thing, or idea, right? Same thing in Arabic, except things like adjectives and verbal nouns and all of that fall into it, right? But that's the same thing. Al-fi'l, the verb, كل لفظ يدل على حصول عمل في زمن خاص. A verb is every word which points to the achievement of an action in a particular time. So past, present, or future, which we're going to get to, inshallah. Well, harf is the particles are كل لفظ لا يظهر معناه كاملا إلا مع غيره. It is a word that its meaning is not clear completely unless it is with other words. That's why we say we don't translate min and fi and all of that ala until we get them in a sentence, and then we figure out their meaning. We don't say ala mean or fi means in, and that's what it means, and it doesn't mean anything else. So when the slave girl said Allah fi sama, it means Allah is in the sky. No, it doesn't mean in here. It means ala. Right? Fi here means ala, above. What's the proof that fi can mean ala? Doesn't Allah say in the Quran, walk throughout the earth, and He uses the word fi, right? Walk in the earth and see Allah's signs. He uses the word fi. He doesn't mean walk inside the earth. He means walk on top of the earth. So fi comes here with the meaning of Allah. So we have to use it like that. So the parts of speech, the first rule, a complete sentence is called a jumlatu mufida. Gives us a complete idea, or it's called kalam. Every part of that, the second rule, every part of that sentence has parts. The third rule, those parts are an ism, a fi'l, and a harf. First 3 chapters are super easy, right? Here, we divide the verbs up. تقسيم الفعل باعتبار زمنه. The division of the verb with consideration to its time. So here first we have الماضي, the past tense. And all of this is very easy for us, inshallah. جار الكلب, the dog ran. دقت الساعة, the hour became short, right? Let's just go down to the qaida, inshallah. The qaida here is الفعل الماضي هو كل فعل يدل على حصول عمل في زمن الماضي. The past tense verb is every verb which points to the completion of an action in the past tense. It's like we don't even need to talk about that. It's understood. Past tense means the action was done in the past. The second one here, الفعل المضارع. الفعل المضارع. Maybe for those who want to write their chart, maybe what would be good is to write like this title and then write the qaida. Write the title and then write what's in the box, the qaida, the rule. That way they would be able to remember the title with the qaida or something like that. It says أغسل يدي. I wash my hands. ينبح الكلب. The dog barks. ألبس ثيابي. I wear my clothes. Right? ينتبه الحارس. The guard stays aware, stays on watch.
I just noticed.
The qaida here, since we're dealing with the fi'l al-mudari', is that the fi'l al-mudari' هو كل فعل يدل على حصول عمل في زمن الحاضر أو المستقبل ولا بد أن يكون مبدوءا بحرف من أحرف المضارعة وهي الهمزة والنون والياء والتاء. This fi'l al-mudari', this present tense verb, in Arabic we call it the fi'l al-mudari'. It's every verb which points to the doing or completion of an action in the present tense or in the future. As for the present and future in Arabic, there is no difference in how they're written. But if we want to say that it's definitely going to be done in the future, then you would do that with a verb, or you would do that with seen and sofa, which we'll learn, right? But there is no difference. So for instance, I could say, Sa'akulu gadin. I will eat tomorrow. This sa means I will, meaning tomorrow. Not I am eating now. I say akulu or akulu. I'm eating. But if I put sa'akulu, meaning I will eat. Sofa is the same as this. Or I can say gadin akulu. Tomorrow I'll eat. So I make it in the future with some other words. But the verb itself is going to be written the same. And this verb, it says, La bud an yakuna mabdu'an. No doubt that a present tense verb is going to begin with one of the present tense letters, meaning a hamza, for adhabu, a noon for nadhabu, a ya for yadhabu, yadhabuna, yadhabna, yadhabani, and a ta for tadhabu, tadhabina, tadhabuna, tadhabna, like this. right? Every present tense verb is going to begin with one of these four letters. The next section is al-fi'l al-amr. Fi'l al-amr, the command verb. Il'ab bil-kura, play with the ball. Nam mubakkaran, sleep early. At'im pittatuk, feed your cat. Pittatuk, feed your cat. So the qaida here, the qaida here for the command verb is fi'l al-amr هو الذي كل فعل يطلب به حصول شيء في زمن المستقبل. The command verb done in the future tense. For some reason I can't hear myself. I can't hear you guys.
Can you hear me? Okay, now we can hear you.
Sorry, I was choking. Okay, a command verb is every verb which seeks something to be done in the future. And in parentheses, even if that is as soon as I say it. It doesn't necessarily mean tomorrow or later today, but sit down. As soon as I said it, I want it done. As soon as I said it, I want it done, not later on, right? So I want it done now. That doesn't mean present tense. That means right after I said it, that's when I want it done, right? Okay. So far we've learned complete sentence, al-jumla mufida, al-jumla mufida is a complete idea and is made up of parts. Right? That sentence is made up of parts. That's the first and second lesson. Those two sentences I just said. Jumla mufida gives you a complete idea, and that sentence is made up of parts. That's the first two. That's the first two chapters. Those parts are called an ism, a fi'l, and a harf. Noun, verb, particle. Right? That's the third chapter. Chapter 1 and 2. Chapter 3. Chapter 4, 5, and 6. Tells us the fi'l could be al-madi, al-mudari', or al-amr. Simple, right?
Yeah.
Past, present, command. And we can say, if you want, al-mustaqbal to include inside of there. Now we have the fa'il. Tara al-usfur. Ya'umu al-samak. Tarat al-usfur, the sparrow flew. The fish swam. Jar al-hisan, the horse ran. Yalsa'u al-ba'ud, the gnat or the mosquito bites or stings, whatever you say. La'ib al-walad, the boy plays. Ta'kul al-bint, the girl eats. All of these that we have here are the one who did the action. And we see that it's marfu'. The one who does the action is the fa'il. He's the fa'il, or she's the fa'il, or it's the fa'il. The one who does it is the fa'il, and it's marfu'. So if we scroll down to our qaida, we'll find that the fa'il ismun marfu'un تقدمه فعل ودل على الذي فعل الفعل. The fa'il is a noun that is marfu' preceded by a verb. وَدَلَّ عَلَى الَّذِي فَعَلَ الْفِعْلِ, and it points to the one who did the action. Okay, so we have ذهب Muhammad. Muhammad is our fa'il. But if I was to say Muhammad, if I write it right, ذهب, this is no longer the fa'il. This is our mubtada, and we'll get there. The fa'il is always preceded with a fi'l. When we're talking about grammatical terms, we start trying to break it down and see why. Because we could say in this second sentence here, Inna Muhammadan dhahaba. Verily Muhammad went. So now Muhammad, because of inna, would become mansoob. And I'm telling you that the fa'il is always marfu'. Right? So the fa'il has to be preceded grammatically. When we start talking about these parts of speech, the fa'il always has to be preceded by a fi'l. Because if it's not, and it's in the opposite sentence, then this is going to be part of, this dhahaba here is going to be part of the khabar. It's not going to be the fi'l that makes the fa'il. It's going to be part of the khabar. Okay, so here we learn the next thing. Fa'il. It's before a verb, right? And it's marfu'. Marfu', always marfu', and before a verb. Or after a verb, a verb before it. That's what I wanted to say. Not before a verb, but after a verb. Sorry. I wanted to say a verb comes before it. That's always. That's our qaida. And maf'ulun bihi, what the sister was asking about. شد التلميذ الحبل. Shadda here would be to tighten. Right? The student tightened the habal. The student is marfu'. It's the one doing the shadda here. It's the one doing the tightening. The student is marfu'. It's the fa'il. It comes after a verb. And it is marfu'. And al-habal is the object of the shadda, the maf'ulun bihi. Al-maf'ulun bihi or maf'ulun bihi, same thing. Maf'ulun bihi, this is mansub. If we look at the one here, yarbahu as-sabiqu jaizatan. The winner wins, or the one who precedes wins a prize. As-sabiqu, the winner, is marfu'. It comes after a verb. It's marfu'. And this ja'iza, this prize, is the object of the winning. It's mansoob maf'ulun bi. Tawwat al-bint, al-bintu, even though it's not written. Al-thawba, the girl folds the clothes. The girl is doing the folding. It's after a verb. It's the fa'il, marfu' bi-damma, والثوب منصوب مفعول به. يصيد الثعلب دجاجة. We have a verb. It's a present tense verb. Comes with a ya. This one comes with a ya. These don't have a ya, alif, a waw, or noon, so they're past tense. يصيد الثعلب. This is the fa'il, marfu', comes after the verb. The fox hunts dajajatan, a chicken. Dajaja mansoob maf'ulun bihi. We go down to our qaida. المفعول به اسم منصوب وقع عليه فعل الفاعل. The maf'ulun bihi is a noun which is mansoob. The action of the doer falls on it. The action of the doer falls on it. Okay? I don't know what to put here. We'll also say that this is a noun. We'll say that, we'll make sure that we know that. The fa'il is a noun, it's marfu', and it comes after. The maf'ulun bihi is a noun, it's mansoob, and it's the object of the verb. Basically, that's what it is. Any questions? I mean, it's pretty easy. This is just, I don't think there was a qaida here. Let me check. I don't think so. I don't have the book in front of me. This was just, yeah, that was just a comparison. That comparison chart was saying the fa'il and the al-maf'ulun bihi. If we were to compare them, this is a noun, this is a noun, right? This is marfu', and this is mansoob, right? This comes after a verb, and so does the maf'ulun bihi, because it comes after. That's it. They're just comparing them two. But this one is marfu' and this one's mansoob. That's where they'll be different. Here, the mubtada and the khabar. Al-mubtada wal-khabar. At-tafahatu hulwatun. The apple is delicious or sweet. Sweet is better. Ladhidatun would be delicious. Al-qitaru sari'un. The train is fast. As-suratu jamilatun. The picture is beautiful. An-nadhafatu wajibatun. Cleanliness is obligatory. Al-jaryu mufidun. Running is beneficial. Al-ardu mustadira. The earth is round. Here, reading all of these.
Okay, so you just clicked it over, it just showed up here.
Oh. Did everyone else see when I was reading, or just hit?
Yeah.
Now I do, but before I wasn't.
Okay. التفاحة حلوة. Everyone should be able to see now, right? القطار سريع. The train is fast. الصورة جميلة. The picture is beautiful. النظافة واجبة. Cleanliness is obligatory. الجري مفيد. Running is beneficial. الأرض مستديرة. If we look at these, we find that they're all nouns. Right? They're all nouns. Rule number 9 and 10. المبتدأ and الخبر. Right? المبتدأ اسم مرفوع في أول الجملة، والخبر اسم مرفوع يكون مع المبتدأ إجمالة مفيدة. It says that the mubtada is a noun, right? مرفوع, beginning of sentence. I'm abbreviating just because of my pen. The mubtada is a noun, marfu' at the beginning of a sentence. The khabar is a noun, marfu', right? Info about the mubtada. The hard thing in Arabic is memorizing these terms, because unlike in English, for instance, if I say subject and predicate, you might know maybe subject. Subject is the subject of our conversation. Maybe we understand that. But predicate doesn't mean anything to us necessarily, unless you're really maybe advanced in the English language. Whereas in Arabic, khabar means information. Al-mubtada means the beginning. You know what I mean? The fa'il means the doer. So all of this in Arabic makes complete sense. So for instance, when you do tajweed and you find like the rules of idgham, when you talk about noon, the sakna, you got idgham and izhar and ikhfa, and what's the other one? Anyway, I can't think right now. This idgham actually means what it is. This izhar actually means what it is. This ikhfa is not just a term applied to it after, for instance, the name of the person who founded the science. No, this actually means what you do in Arabic with that noon. It's actually indicative of the action that you do with that noon. So therefore in Arabic it becomes a lot easier to learn these things. But in English it's harder to teach them because it's a whole nother word in a whole nother language, and we're not able to word associate it the way we would be able to do in English. Like al-mubtada means the beginning, the thing which begins. Al-khabar means information. So now that makes the sentence, or makes the concept so much easier. Well, I'm waiting on this to do its thing. Okay.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Fadal.
But I apologize. It has to do with file. Should we do that
Okay.
after the class or?
No, you're fine.
You said it's always marfu', and you said it's after the noun,
Right.
and if it's not, it will be considered.
Grammatically, it'll be considered something else. Right? Okay, I'll give you an example.
Can it? Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead, say what you're going to say. What I write.
Khabar has to be a noun. It cannot be a verb. If I'm just asking, if it's too much for now, then
No, I will tell you, no problem. This ذهب محمد, this is easy. جملة الفعلية begins with a فعل. I see a فعل, past tense, right? I need my file. Muhammad. Muhammad went. If I say Muhammad ذهب, for instance, إلى Mecca.
that's what I'm wondering about. Yes.
Okay, Muhammad ذهب إلى Mecca. Here, the jumlatul ismiya begins with a noun, not a verb, right?
Right.
This is so. Therefore, the jumlatul ismiya has to have a mubtada and a khabar. So here's my mubtada. It's marfu', right, with a dhamma. My khabar is this whole sentence. So the khabar, the simple khabar of, for instance, Muhammadun Rasulun, Muhammad is a messenger, right? It's being replaced by a sentence. This sentence that is being replaced with is a jumlatul fi'liya. ذهب, past tense verb, and huwa is the fa'il, but it's built into the verb itself, so it's hidden inside the verb. ذهب means he went. So huwa, the fa'il, is hidden inside of ذهب. Ila is a harful jar, ismu majroor after the harful jar. So this is in the place of the khabar marfu'. Grammatically, when you get into all of that. You understand?
No.
So this jumlatul fi'liya, what we did, or what we're going to do when we see it, we're going to, let me erase all these little things here. When we see this, we're going to when we see this, I'm assuming just seen as a woman. If it's a man and you want me to open your mic, let us know. Okay, ذهب. Okay, Muhammad is our mubtada. We already established that, right? Now our khabar is going to be a whole new sentence here. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the i'rab of a jumlatul fi'liya. ذهب فعل الماضي it's a past tense verb. Man, you got me stuck on the words I'm looking for right now. So it's a fi'l madi, and the huwa is hidden inside of it. The file is hidden inside of it. Illa. So you're going to break this down like it's a whole new sentence, which it is. And then you're going to say khabar, like khabar marfu'. Right? Because that's what position it's in. Right? Because it knocks out the simple khabar, This is something you have to learn in all of Arabic, like all of Arabic, and even in the religion. There's certain things that we teach, right? So when you, for instance, you teach kids in a weekend school, The first day, you want to teach them how to make wudu. Tell them, Allah says, wash your feet. Right? So you're going to make them take off their socks and you're going to make them wash their feet, even though they might have had wudu when they put their socks on. But you're not going to the conditions of wiping over the khufs. Did you have wudu when you put your socks on before you came? Because if you did, then you can do it. When did you wipe over them last? Because you got 24 hours, unless you're a traveler. You know what I mean? You're not going to do that with a kid. No, take off your socks, wash your feet. Then after a while, when they know how to make wudu, you're going to teach them about the mas'ala thing, that they don't have to take off their socks, that they put in the wudu. And kids are going to be like, Sheikh, I made wudu before I came to school, and I put my socks on. You've been making me take them off for the last 2 months. I know, son, but I was trying to teach you something, and now that you know that, I can go further into the details. That's the same with Arabic. When we say Muhammad dhahaba, then this dhahaba is take this. We say the mubtada has a khabar, and the khabar is marfu'. It's a noun. This is true. However, this is taking its place. Is that clear?
Yes.
That's why every week I tell you a rule, and then I say, okay, in the last 5 minutes, I'm going to tear down everything I taught you by giving you some confusing stuff, right?
And I apologize to everybody for asking the question like this again. It was just, I wanted to make sure.
No problem. الجملة الفعلية. الجملة الفعلية. This is the verbal sentence. It begins with a verb. لمع البرق. Our dhib. The lightning flashed. The wolf howled. يشتد البرد. The cold became more severe. اقتف الوردة. Pick the flower. All these are sentences that should begin with verbs, either a past tense like these up here, lama and awa, or present tense like yaskut wa yashtad, right? Or command like khudul kitab or iqtif al-warda. Then these are command verbs telling you and ordering you. The qaida, kullu jumlatin tatarakkabu min fa'lin wa fa'il تسمى جملة فعلية. So our qaida here, this number 1, number 9 and 10 together make a jumlatul ismiya. 9 and 10 together make a jumlatul ismiya. Number 11, a jumlatul fi'liya. You know, if you were in class and I caught you texting, I'd take your phone from you for a week, right?
I am, it's me, I am writing stuff on the iPad.
I'm messing with you.
Did it make
Fire.
sound?
No, you're good. Let me see here.
Sorry.
A jumlatul fi'liya is made up of a fi'l and a fa'il. Okay? That's a jumlatul fi'liya, made up of a fi'l and a fa'il. Right? The same thing we do with Islam. We tell people there's nothing worthy of worship except one God, and we tell them and we give them jihad, and later on we tell them Tawheed is 3 types. Then later on we tell them, Ibn al-Qayyim said 2 types. And the 2 types, one of the types branches out into the 3 types. And, we complicate things like that, right? A jumlatul ismiya, this is actually rule number 12 here. We already did that, which is, it's made up of a mubtada and a khabar. So, we have, let's go. Read these 12 real quick. Al-jumlatul mufida is what gives us a complete idea. That sentence is made up of parts. Those parts are ism, the fi'l, and a harf, the nouns, verbs, and particles. The past tense verb is talking about an action that was completed in the past. A present tense verb, which is the same look as a future is an action which is being done in the future. It could have been done in the past. It started in the past, but it's still being done, and it could still be going in the future, but it's being done at least right now. And an amr is a request for an action to be done in the future, even if it means as soon as I say it. The fa'il is the doer of the verb. It's marfu'. It comes after the verb, and it's always going to be a noun. The maf'ulun bihi is a noun. It's mansoob, and it means it's the object of the verb. A mubtada is a noun which is marfu', and it's what begins a sentence. And the khabar is a noun marfu', and it's information about the mubtada. And together, these two parts, the mubtada and the khabar, they make up a jumlatul ismiya. They make up a nominal sentence, a sentence that begins with a noun. And a jumlatul fi'liya is a sentence which begins with a verb, and it's made up of, at the very least, a fi'l and a fa'il. It seems pretty clear, right?
Is that rule number 12?
The rule number 12.
Mubtada.
Rule number 12 is jumla ismiya is mubtada and a khabar. Yeah.
Can you zoom that screen out just a little bit?
Which one? This one?
1 through 12. The one, yeah.
Yeah, I don't have ability. This doesn't have a zoom in it. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But let me go up here and read the qaida for the jumla ismiya. The qaida, just to let you see it. كل جملة تتركب من مبتدا وخبر تسمى جملة اسمية. Every sentence which is made up of a mubtada and a khabar is called a جملة اسمية. Right? This نصب الفعل مضارع. What makes the فعل مضارع منصوب? Now, let me see here. So now we got al-Madi. Man, wallahi, it's escaping my mind. Al-Mudari. And al-Amr. Okay, mabni, that's it. Al-Fi'l Mudari is always going to be what's called mabni, as well as the Fi'l Amr. It's always going to be mabni, meaning it does not change. ذهب أكل. No matter what you put in front of that is not ever going to make it ذهبوا or ذهبي or akalu or akali. There's nothing you could do. The past tense verb is called mabni, meaning it's built and it's done. You're not doing anything else. The amr is likewise. You're going to say kul. You're going to say kul. You're going to say idhab. Right? These is built on a sukoon. If I say it to a woman, it's kulli. But there's nothing I can do to change this sukoon on this verb right here ever. There's nothing I can do to change this when I talk to a female ever. There's nothing I can put in.
There. I guess mic going out.
It's called mabni, right? Mabni meaning it'll never ever change.
You gotta go back a little bit because your internet
I
went
know.
out.
I'm saying kul, these, there's nothing I can put in front of these sentences that will make them change. The amr, the fi'l amr, the command verb, and the past tense verb. No matter what I put in front of them, they're always going to be the same. Whereas the mudari, such as yadhabu, or ya'kulu, I could put something in front of these which will change the yadhabu to let me get a good color. Yadhabu to yadhaba. Ya'kulu to ya'kula. I could put something in front of it that could make it yadhab with a sukoon or ya'kul with a sukoon. Something could come in front of it which changes it. Right? We know that because if we put an in front of uhsinu, it becomes uhsina. If I put akdhibu, if I put len in front of it, it becomes akdhiba. So there are certain, so it becomes easy. I know it might have just seemed like I confused you, but actually I made it easy. Because when we start talking about things which change the endings of a verb, we're only talking about the fi'l mudari. Because the madi, the past tense, and the amr, the command, they never ever change. So those are one thing. Once we memorize them, we're done with that. Put it on the shelf. Don't have to worry about it no more. With mudari, we realize there are things that could come in front of it that could change it. But the other two forms of the verb, they don't change. So now we singled out 1/3 of the type of verbs. We put the other two away. We're done. So it might seem like it complicates it, but it actually makes it easy because now we're only worried about the present tense verbs. And there are things which can go in front of it which make it mansoob. And here we have an, len, idhin, and kay. Right? An, len, idhin, and kay. These are the things which change the, that would be the qaida number 13. Right? The things which make the fi'l mudari mansoob. Right? And len, idhin, and kay. Now I said if we didn't finish this, we wouldn't do it again next week, but I think we'll finish it and then start a new principle anyway or something. I just think it'll help people out, even though there's no sense in just rushing through. We're not trying to finish the book so we can say, yeah, I finished al-Wadih, and then we don't know any grammar, right? So we don't have to start back over at al-Jumla Mufida and the types of speech, but we can worry about this 13, 14, 15, 16 before we move on to the next chapter. Is that agreed with everybody?
Yes, sir. Inshallah.
Inshallah ta'ala. I hope it's clear. If you pay attention to this, go back and rewatch it, go back and watch the other videos. It's going to be clear. And like I said, as we go through the books, we'll point some of these things out here and there. We'll finish Nawaqid al-Islam tomorrow, inshallah ta'ala. And then I'm thinking the next day to do, just read Nawaqid al-Islam and point out these types of things, and then therefore begin if you could write your email in here, type your email and I'll send you the link if you don't mind, just seeing. So anyway, that's what we'll do, inshallah ta'ala. Maybe we'll go over on the last, on Wednesday night before the break, that we'll go over Nawafil al-Islam, just pointing out files, maf'ulun bihs, mubtadas, khabars, and all of that type of stuff, mensubat and stuff like this, mudaf, mudaf ilays that we know about. We'll just read it through real quick and point that out, inshallah ta'ala. Sound good?
No.
If you hurry up and write, sister, so I can write it down. I got to take my son to school. How do I? Oh, never mind. Yeah, I never did this before. I don't really do it. So, okay, one second, just. I can't read it out loud because she sent it private anyway. Anyway, Jazakumullah khairan, and I will see you, brothers and sisters, tomorrow, inshallah ta'ala, for Nawaqid al-Islam. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.